Hi guys, welcome to the Trailhead. My name is Jen and this is my not so tiny house. Today is my very first nerve-wracking YouTube episode. I'm gonna give you a full tour of my 500 square foot space, but first I'm gonna grab a coffee and fill you in on how I even ended up in a tiny house to begin with. Let's go. Okay, so here's what happened. In 2018, my marriage of 18 years ended and I had to find affordable housing in my affluent community outside of Boulder, Colorado. At the time, houses were going for about $600,000, which was not an option on my single income. A lot of people have said, why didn't you just move somewhere where housing was more affordable? Because I love where I live is the simple answer. I love running on trails. I've got world-class ones, just a short drive away. More importantly though, my kids were about to graduate from high school and there's no way I was going to put them through divorce and then say, hey, let's move to a whole new state and start our lives over again. That wasn't happening. So I had to find affordable housing right where I was. In my search, I found the cutest tiny house I've ever seen. It was a little bigger than the ones I'd seen before and I thought I could live in that. So I sent it to a neighbor, totally expecting her to laugh, but instead her immediate response was, that's genius. And I was like, right? So together we went straight down the tiny house rabbit hole, searching for all things tiny house related. In our search, we found a local guy on Craigslist who said he could build and help you find land for a tiny house. After my house sold, I visited him and actually bought the house he was working on because the previous owner backed out. And I thought this, I already have the shell. It's going to be so much faster now. But he led me to believe he could finish this thing out in 6 to 8 months. And in that time, he did zero. I got zero timeline, budget. Like aside from buying the house, I didn't give him like a down payment, thankfully, because he never did anything. The clock is ticking for me because I wanted to live with my kids before they graduated. So I had to do a little shopping and find a new builder. Thankfully, I found Mitchcraft, who in a 1-hour phone call answered more questions than the Craigslist guy had answered in all the time that I had known him. So I went to visit Mitchcraft. Everything was just dialed in. They knew what they were doing. My house was the 75th house they had done. They knew what they were doing. When I, talked to Mitch about my ideas, he saw my vision. I honestly feel like I lucked out and got the best builder in the country because these guys totally delivered a house that was like way better than any of the ideas I sent them. So yeah, let's get back to the tour and I will show you all the things I love about my tiny house. My tiny house is 34 feet long by 10 feet wide. At the highest point, it's 14 feet. I have 14 windows, 4 skylights, and 2 full glass French doors. So the place is always flooded with natural light, making it the happiest place I've ever lived. When people step into my home for the first time, they always say these 2 things. 1, this is not what we thought you meant when you said tiny. And 2, your kitchen definitely has more storage than my kitchen. I love to cook and entertain, and over the years, when I've had people over, they all end up in my kitchen. So it was a no-brainer that the kitchen was gonna be the biggest part of my tiny house. A few things set this kitchen apart as my dream kitchen. 1, quartz countertops for days. This one section of countertop space alone is 81 inches. That's almost 7 feet of food prep space. Cooking is a dream because of it. Another thing I love are my upper cabinets, which have glass fronts, which I've always wanted. The glass reflects light and it just makes it so easy to find what you're looking for. And the last thing that really makes this kitchen a dream, loads of storage. Let me show you. These 3 huge drawers hold the bulk of what I use in my kitchen every day, like my kitchen utensils, my silverware, all of my pots and pans and food storage containers, and even my George Foreman grill and small Instapot. Because I love to do a lot of cooking, I asked my builder to please make sure I had some type of pantry. I keep the bulk of my food in this hidden space in my storage stairs. It has 3 drawers that slide out and make it super easy to locate everything I need. I also have this amazing cabinet that pulls out, which gives me easy access to my 18-pound food processor, as well as all of my baking supplies. My builder put outlets in 3 of my kitchen cabinets, which lets me do things like hide my convection oven in this cabinet. I also keep some of my baking pans up here and some backstock items at the top, which I don't need to access very often, but it's nice to have a space for them. I have another hidden outlet in this cubby for my microwave. It was originally designed for a drawer dishwasher, but the price of those tripled during the pandemic. So that was something that was really easy for me to just completely take off the list. And I love having my microwave off the countertop, and honestly, don't miss having a dishwasher at all. I spend most of my day at this round dining / workspace, and I love it because not only is it permanent, but the round quality means you can look across at whoever you are entertaining or working with instead of like side by side, like in some spaces where it's just like bar seating. I also love that when you're moving through here, you're not going to hit like a pointy edge. It's rounded, and because I have the 10-foot width, there is plenty of space actually to get through here. Another thing I use a space for, I work from home and I wanted to have a space for a hidden printer. So that is where my 3rd hidden outlet is. I have this cabinet with a shelf that slides right out with a printer, so I can use it whenever I need it and just slide it right back in. So it is out of sight when I don't need it. Welcome to the crown jewel of the tiny house, my bathroom. My absolute must-have item was this trough tub. I love a hot soak after a long trail run. It fit right into the space. It's a fraction of the cost of like a real tub, and not to mention it works perfectly with my farmhouse aesthetic. I also have a waterless composting toilet by Separate, which I love, and like everybody says, it has no smell. My poopery literally is just for giggles. The importance of the composting toilet is it's a lot easier for you to find parking because you do not need a sewage system. You only need a gray water system, and those are super easy to set up pretty much anywhere. I also have quite a large countertop space to get ready in the morning. I got this mirrored medicine cabinet which holds a ton of what I need, and I don't have it sitting out on the countertop. I also have my combo washer dryer unit. I love it. It goes straight from the wash to the dry. This thing is amazing. Right across from that, I have my built-in dresser system which holds most of my clothing. These drawers are really deep. When I moved in, I measured each drawer. I went to Target and found some containers that would fit so I could stack and rearrange things and easily get to different things that I want to wear. In other drawers, I simply roll my jeans, capris, and leggings, but as you can see, this dresser holds a ton of clothing. I love it. So I just popped into the trough tub to answer a couple of questions that people always ask me. One is, does it retain heat? And that was something that was important to me, and the answer is emphatically yes. This thing stays, it gets really hot and it stays really hot. If you've ever been in a hot tub where you had to bail or sit on the side because you get too hot, that is the experience of the trough tub. That was important to me because after a long trail run in the winter, I will get in this thing with some Epsom salt and sit here for like up to an hour. It's part of my recovery. So yes, it stays hot. The second thing people always ask me is it comfortable? To me, it's comfortable because I have a space for my neck to rest. If you've ever been in one of those tubs that goes straight into a wall, you can't recline, that's the worst bubble bath you're ever gonna have. This is super comfy also because the tub is curved. It just feels like very cocoon-like. Yeah, I think it's super cozy and it stays toasty warm, and I approve this trough tub. In my primary loft, I had a couple of things that were very important to me. One was I really wanted this standing space. I just think it makes it so much easier to get in and out of bed in the morning. I wanted to be able to come up on stairs, not a ladder. I didn't want to have to like shuffle to bed on my knees or crawl in. The standing space makes it so much easier for making the bed and just putting clothes away in my closet and things like that. The other very important thing to me was to have a king size bed. I'm on this journey alone right now, but things could change in the future, so I just decided to go ahead and future-proof this, and should I ever decide to live full-time with someone again, I would want the king-size bed, so I'm happy that that fit. People often comment that this space would make them claustrophobic. It doesn't make me claustrophobic. I think it's really cozy, especially in the winter up here. I think the main thing that keeps it from feeling claustrophobic is this amazing skylight area. It lets in a ton of natural light, so the space feels bigger. It's also actually nice to look out and see the stars on a clear night. That's a really cool feature. But also just having that extra headroom here is really nice when you're making the bed, so you're not hitting your head. You have a little more space to move around. Some other features I have here, I have this great little hanging closet where I keep jackets and button-down shirts and sweaters and things like that. And underneath is a drawer probably intended for accessories and jewelry, neither of which I have much of, so I keep my race medals and bibs and things like that that are important to me in there. My loft privacy wall is full of these great cubbies that hold a ton of stuff. When my builder was creating the final plan, I saw that this divider wall was shorter, and I thought I wanted maybe a little extra privacy, so I asked if he could bump it up a little. And when he did that, I got this great row that's just the right size for all of my BOGO gear hats, which I'm totally obsessed with. So I was able to keep all of those, and it was a great surprise when I moved into this space. So that is my primary loft. I have 2 sets of storage stairs leading to each loft. This set hides my pantry as well as the majority of my shoes. And it has one deep drawer, which is perfect for my bulky items like hoodies. My other set of stairs functions as my drop zone, so I have a spot where I can stash my keys and sunglasses, all of my coats, and even reusable bags. It's also nice to have some tall storage built in here for my broom and my step stool. Welcome to my daughter's loft. Her loft has a lot of the same features that my loft has. She's got this great queen size bed. Now that I'm here looking at it, you could easily fill the space with a king size bed, but she has great floor space here. So it's nice when, you know, you're coming up and you have like a bag for the weekend or backpack or anything like that. There's plenty of space for that. She also has great cubbies here to organize her things and keep things that are important to her. And like my loft, she has this great skylight which lets loads of natural light in, and it just makes the space feel bigger. And no, it is not claustrophobic on this side either. There is plenty of headspace. Like, I'll show you. I still don't have to like shuffle in. I still like walk around like this to go where I'm going up here. And her bed is on the high side of the shed roof, so plenty of headspace over here. I still call it my daughter's loft even though she just left for college, and I'm like super sad that I'm actually an official tiny house empty nester. So I guess technically this is like my guest room now. I did have some friends come and stay last year, and they all said it was super comfortable. They did not feel cramped. It's a great guest room, but I'm still gonna call it my daughter's loft because I have faith that she's gonna still come back and hang out with me and have girls' night and cook and watch our shows together, right? Right. I put the least amount of thought into planning my living room because, quite frankly, I spend the least amount of time in the living room. That said, 2 things were important to me. One was I wanted space for a full-size sofa. I love this one because it also has a button with a footrest that pops up, which makes family movie night very cozy. The other thing that was important for me was to have plenty of space to do on-demand workouts at home. I have a mirror so I can, you know, check my form when I'm doing that. Sometimes I do have to spill out into this entry space to work out because if I'm lifting weights or, you know, jumping at all, I don't want to hit the loft above me. I also have a 50-inch TV with a swivel so I can pull it out and watch, you know, a football game or a movie or something while I'm cooking or while I'm at the dining table entertaining a guest. Another thing that was on my wish list was this electric fireplace. It is super handy. I love that it has a remote, so if I'm on the couch and I get chilly, I can just hit a few buttons and have some heat going. It also changes colors and will just have a flame going with no heat if you just want the cozy vibe without the heat. I also have this handy hanging chair, which I stash right next to my couch. I honestly thought I would only take it out if I needed it for additional seating, but most often I will grab my coffee and come down and start my day right here. I enjoy traveling and spending time in the great outdoors, which is why I love having exterior storage. I have 2 exterior units. This one holds my seasonal water hose, ski boot bag, 2 carry-on suitcases, a huge duffel with all of my camping gear, 2 of my seasonal tires, and my propane tanks. In the second unit, I keep my skis, 2 inflatable stand-up paddle boards, snowshoes, flotation devices, seasonal decor, a small Christmas tree, my other 2 seasonal tires, and some extra winter gear. My journey to tiny house living started with a simple need for affordable housing. But as I was planning the space, I realized that I had a very unique opportunity to live my life in a completely different way than I had before. That idea of starting a fresh, new chapter brought me back to life. And now that I've shifted to a minimal mindset and have the option to move my home anywhere, I can't imagine living any other way. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching my very first video. I hope you enjoyed the tour. Please take a second to leave any questions or comments below. I would love to know what you thought. One thing I learned from watching a lot of other YouTubers is that their very first video was the absolute worst. So that's good news for me and for you. It's only gonna get better from here, I promise. So yeah, thank you, and I will see you in the next video.